Hello, my name is Henley Gavin. I'm from Lexington County. I've been in 4-H for 3 years. Today I will be presenting on earwigs. So, what are earwigs? Earwigs are a type of insect in the order Dermoptera. Earwigs are nocturnal and enjoy to live in tropical and humid climates. Earwig taxonomy. Earwigs are in the kingdom Animalia, the phylum Arthropoda, the class Insecta, the order Dermoptera, the family Forficulidae steffens, the genus Forficula linnaeus, and the species Forficula auriculapardia linnaeus. Diagram of an earwig. Earwigs are pretty interesting creatures in that they have 3 segments on their body. Those 3 segments include the head, thorax, and abdomen. The pinchers at the bottom of their body are called forceps, cerces, or just pinchers. The male and the female earwig do not have very many differences. Some of the differences, however, include the male earwig will have different chunks of segments and will normally be longer and have more segments than the female earwig. The male earwig will also have more curved cerci on the bottom of their tail, while the female's earwigs are more straighter. Earwig life cycle. Earwigs are pretty basic with their life cycle and that they only have 3 stages to it. The first stage is eggs. And in the fall is mating season for earwigs, and after that the female will dig a burrow and will lay her eggs and will winter them until the springtime when they hatch. The next cycle in the earwig life cycle is the nymph. The nymph will be in this stage for about a month, and it will undergo 5 to 6 molts during this time. The next stage is an adult. An adult earwig can live for about a year. Types of earwigs. There are over 2,000 different types of earwigs across 12 different families and 3 suborders. There are 10 native earwigs to the United States and 20 earwigs that live here. So that includes invasive species. Some invasive species that we have in the United States are European earwigs and red-legged or ring-legged earwigs. Some native species that we have, however, are striped earwigs and maritime earwigs. Some of the differences in earwigs that you can see include the European and striped earwigs have wings, whereas the ring-legged earwigs and the maritime earwigs do not have wings. Earwig history. Earwigs have a pretty unique history across the United States. In 1924, the Bureau of Earwig Control had to be made in Portland, Oregon, because the population of earwigs were getting so out of control and they were eating all of the different types of fruit trees and nut trees that they had in Oregon. How did the earwig get its name? There are 2 different theories that people have towards how did the earwig get its name. One of them include that there was just a bunch of myth and folklore going around about earwigs, saying that they would crawl in your ears and lay eggs in your brain, although this is not true. Another theory is that it came from the word earwing, which is whenever the earwig is flying, its wings kind of resemble an ear, and that is how historians think another theory is on how it got its name. What are the fossil histories of earwigs? Earwigs have been around for over 208 million years, and they have been found all across the globe with their fossils. Earwig behavior. Earwigs are great mothers. Although this may come as a shock to people, it also comes as a shock to scientists. Most insects that are not sociable are not good mothers, although the earwig mother stands out from this. Earwig mothers will guard their eggs with their life and will defend them until their last breath. Earwig mothers will also not eat when they have their eggs in their burrow and will make sure that their eggs stay in pristine conditions. And even after their eggs hatch onto their nymph cycle, the earwig mothers will still continue to guard them until they decide to leave the nest. Most earwigs are nocturnal. Most earwigs will only come out at night and are nocturnal because of the animals that they normally tend to eat are out at night. Earwigs are semi-social. You will sometimes find earwigs in groups or clumps together. This is because they can tolerate each other and normally will not get into fights amongst each other. Earwigs, beneficial or pests? There's a lot of debate in the gardening world about whether earwigs are beneficial or pests. Earwigs will eat different pest insects such as grubs, mites, and aphids, and other pest insects' eggs, although once their normal food runs out, they might resort to eating plants, which is how you may see little circles cut out in your plant's leaves. Earwigs cannot survive inside your house. If you see earwigs inside of your house, it is most likely because you brought in something that already had the earwig in it, or it might have accidentally found its way into your house when it was searching for food or humidity. Earwigs cannot survive in your house, and most of them will die if they're ever trapped in there. Earwig control. After hearing all the pros and cons about earwigs, you may want to know, how do you prevent earwigs from going into your garden? One way to prevent this is to take away any cover for the earwigs, such as rocks, logs, or other types of leaves and other types of cover. I do not recommend, however, using any pesticides against earwigs, because this can hurt the environment within your garden and can also hurt the pollinator insects within your garden, such as butterflies, bees, and wasps. What eats earwigs? Another way to prevent earwigs from taking up an abundance in your yard is to attract as many animals as you can to your yard that will eat earwigs. This includes birds, toads, and frogs. Fun facts. When I was researching earwigs, some fun facts stood out to me. Earwigs might have been the first plant pollinators. When scientists were looking at the fossil records of earwigs, they noticed that some of them carried pollen pockets on them and were seen to have carried pollen with them. This leads scientists to believe that they might have been some of the first pollinators. Earwigs can live for a year without food. Earwigs in different climates can slow down their metabolism to be so slow that they can just rely on their fat stores for over a year. Earwigs are also attracted to the smell of soy sauce. If you want to lay a trap for earwigs or try to attract them to your yard for any reason, soy sauce is a great way to do it. Earwigs hibernate. During the winter months, a lot of earwigs will hibernate and take cover by digging burrows or holes into the ground. During my studies, I also learned about a really unique extinct species of earwig called the St. Helena giant earwig. This earwig was first discovered in 1798 by Johann Christian Fabricius. It was rediscovered in 1962, and many people believe that it lived in gumwood forests and seabird colonies. The last sighting of this earwig was in 1967, and it has not been seen again ever since. This earwig was about 3 inches in size, which is really remarkable considering how some of them are only under an inch. Earwig adaptations. Because earwigs can be found all over the globe, they have some pretty interesting adaptations that let them live this way. Some of their adaptations include their wings. Some earwigs have evolved to have wings. They use these wings to fly short distances to escape predators or to get to better habitats. Exoskeletons. Because earwigs do not have a skeleton within them, they have an exoskeleton. This allows them to go down to get deep into crevices and other rocks to seek shelter from the winds and harsh climates, or just to seek shelter from predators. There are also some parasitic types of earwigs in Australia. These earwigs are parasitic towards bats and will live on them. Scent glands. Some earwigs can produce a nauseating smell that many people do not like. This aids them in getting away from predators as well as getting away from humans. Resources. Some of the great resources that I've found to use when studying earwigs are the Kaufman Field Guide to Insects on North America and the National Audubon Society of Insects and Spiders. Some websites that I would recommend you use if you want to continue your studies on earwigs are the University of Minnesota Extension and the Australian Museum. One reason why I decided to pick an insect as what I wanted to do a presentation on is that when I grow up, I would like to be an entomologist, and this is just one of the things that I would have to do with my job. Once again, I'm Henley Gavin. I'm from Lexington County, and I've been in 4-H for 3 years.